is a video review slash demo slash behind the scenes of what Lynda.com is like. So just as a quick refresher, Lynda.com was acquired by LinkedIn, which is owned by Microsoft, a multi-billion-dollar well-known company that was founded by Bill Gates. And Lynda.com itself is one of the top video learning course platforms. Some of its competitors include Udemy.com. Udemy is really the only big one other than YouTube, which is a free platform. So does this actually meet its hype? Well, first off, I want to highlight the type of courses that Lynda.com offers. So with YouTube and Udemy, they're really trying to go for a super broad audience. Any topic under the sun, they will cover. YouTube is probably the most broad. Udemy is almost as broad, but they're really focused on any type of courses that actually generate sales, and not everyone's willing to buy every course. Lynda.com is definitely, as you can tell, more tech focused. So there's stuff on video editing, there's stuff on Photoshop, there's stuff on front-end web development, there's stuff on photography, there's stuff on marketing, becoming a small business owner, and Excel wizard. As you can kind of see, this is the type of stuff that is highly focused on at Lynda.com. Now, I think this focus could be broadened a bit. There's a bunch of topics I would love it to cover more in depth. But I think the reason that they've decided to niche down like this is because they really want to kind of stand out. They kind of want to be known as the expert at certain things, and if you try and be the expert at everything, you become the expert at nothing because your content is watered down. Now, Udemy has created a successful model by just kind of selling each course separately, but Lynda.com has a flat monthly membership fee, and as you can tell, it actually goes pretty in depth. So you can see all these subcategories under each main category. The top categories here are 3D animation, audio and music, business, CAD, which involves 3D printing, design, developers, and so on and so forth. My favorite ones are probably the web one, which covers a bit of programming, the video editing stuff especially. It's even broken down by software. There's the well-known ones like Final Cut Pro, which is what Casey Neistat uses. Premiere Pro is what a lot of the top YouTubers use. And then there's even tips on navigating YouTube and becoming a star on YouTube. As far as my top category that I love is marketing. There's email marketing, AdWords, Facebook, Google Analytics, SEO, and so forth. You can become a digital marketer, you can become an SEO expert, and there's plenty of training here that can really help you self-learn and become a qualified expert in the field so you can get a job in these growing industries. Now, I'm very familiar with this digital marketing industry since I work in this world, and I've personally vetted some of these courses in SEO and PPC and online marketing, and they are definitely not bad at all. I definitely think that if you went through these courses and you really took your time and understood the content, you would have more knowledge than 99% of people who applied for their first job as a digital marketer for an agency, and that's a very competitive position of a very fast-growing industry, but it's still very competitive, and you can definitely get the head start by doing this. Now, I think one of the big differentiators between Lynda.com versus many other online course services, other than its specialization, is the fact that they really hire out professionals to create a professional course on this. They find people who are masters, or at least respected people in this craft who know what they're talking about to teach this stuff. Now, none of these people are big names or have a personal brand. I would love to see someone like Neil Patel or Brian Dean or Rand Fishkin, top SEO guys with large personal brands teaching these, but I think what they're going for is they're hiring people who don't have personal brands online, who aren't well known, but know what they're talking about, probably because they get the best of both worlds. They're able to pay less of a premium to hire these people, and they get real knowledge from people who know what they're talking about. I'm going to click into this Google 360 Suite Overview video course just to give you a sense of what this course is like. As you can see here, the big distinction with Lynda is that you actually have a legit person. With Udemy, you can have random strangers you've never heard of teach a course, and you're basically relying on their average reviews and how well they sell the course through the text and sales page that they have. Instead, what Lynda's going for is they're choosing people who have credentials in this field. So in this case, it's a man named David Booth. He's a Google Analytics and AdWords certified trainer. His firm, he owns a firm which consults in the area, and so on and so forth. So you'll see this is a very common type of profile for a course instructor. Every course in here is fairly built out. It's not just like your bare bones thing, and it's very professional. They really go for people who know what they're talking about. In fact, if you go to some of the photography courses, they really choose people who are not necessarily celebrity photographers or who have large social media followings, but again, really know the craft. They had this one guy who was one of the top employees of National Geographic, which is like one of the top nature magazines on the planet, and are widely recognized as the top nature photography providers out there. So they really choose people that are like skilled at their profession, but maybe not like celebrities. I think what I want to talk about what I don't like about this and what I think could be better. I think currently Lynda.com has some very tough contenders to face. Not necessarily Udemy. I think Udemy does a great job, but the quality of their courses, even if it's 5 stars, is just not always the best of the best. And Udemy highly discounts their courses, so the perceived value of their courses is always kind of on the lower end. Like they're always doing sales. Every course is always like 95% off, and I think it's a bit tacky. Lynda's definitely going for a bit more of a premium level, but I wouldn't call it super premium. I called it like moderate pricing. I think its real contenders are Masterclass and Creative Live. Now, Masterclass only has a very limited set of courses, but they are taught by masters of their craft, celebrities, people you recognize: Gordon Ramsay, Samuel Jackson, James Patterson, Serena Williams, Kevin Spacey, Usher. The list goes on and on. So they really, like, if you really want to become like an entertainment mogul and you want that credibility, I mean, that's a place to go. So I really think Masterclass does a great job. However, they cover completely different industries. This is more about technical learning. Now, another thing I don't like about this, I've gone through a few of Lynda's courses, and they're good for anyone who's trying to self-teach. Like you'll get stuff, generally speaking, better than what you'll get on YouTube or Udemy because it's more structured. Every video, again, that most of these courses are straight up videos. Every video is well organized. It's structured well. You're not going to get stuff cut off or with crappy audio or missing parts like you would on YouTube. But sometimes it just misses the mark slightly. I'm pretty well skilled in many areas because I've paid for a lot of courses in them, as well as cut my teeth in the real world, trying to grow a YouTube audience, trying to improve SEO for clients as well as my own blog. And what I found is that they miss the mark sometimes. And this is a classic problem with universities. So you'll find the same problem if you use iTunes U, which is a free university course platform to watch or listen in on courses from Ivy League schools or other universities that are published online. And that is that when you learn from teachers who don't have real world experience or not as much, it can be too much theory and not time tested advice. And sometimes that theory misses the mark. Now, sometimes if you get a course teacher who knows what they're talking about, like the photographer I mentioned, you're good to go. I mean, you can't ask for anything else. But I think the marketing realm especially warrants itself for a lot of fluff and BS. I mean, a lot of this stuff will probably be decent, but like, with this guy, the marketing expert Jamie Shanks, I think, it just leaves room for like fluff and inaccurate advice to be put out there. Like, you'll get some strong beginner to intermediate fundamentals down, but when you get to the intermediate to advanced level, be especially careful about what they say, because if they haven't made $1 million from marketing, you shouldn't listen to them for marketing advice. It's too much theory, too little practice. Probably the worst culprit of this would be the social media marketing section of this of lynda.com. Now, of course, if you choose a extremely technical skill where everything is by the books, like Premiere Elements 10 training or Photoshop or Adobe Fuse, it's going to be right on the mark. Now, I've contrasted these with all the other training platforms online, and I do believe that if you're on a budget, you can learn the same thing on YouTube. Now YouTube's become so competitive and so awesome that you can pretty much search anything and someone will have made a decent video that will teach you how to do the same things. Oftentimes it'll be shorter and straight to the point. With the Photoshop trainings I've taken here at Lynda, I found that they've been oftentimes a bit overwhelming and a bit too detailed. I think the tendency with these courses that are hired out is that you can get, the teachers want to make a video about every subcategory, and it just becomes so overwhelming and crazy. And they do that because they think, oh, I've been hired by lynda.com, I want to make it great, and they want a comprehensive course. But sometimes it's too comprehensive, and that's where YouTube shines. They don't go too in depth, and I think Creative Live is also pretty good at this. They have a healthy medium where it's detailed but not too detailed. Creative Live also covers a very similar set of creative design / marketing topics from experts, and I think there's pros and cons to going with Creative Live. The pro is that with Creative Live, you'll get people who are slightly more celebrities. So you get people who are like celebrities in their sub niche, or social media influencer / celebrities, such as Ramit Sethi, a top personal finance blogger that a lot of people know, or Corbett Barr, or Neil Patel, who's huge in SEO. However, if you are focused on just trying to get the most out of what you have here, then the key is to just go with this one, because it's a monthly flat membership fee, whereas Creative Live, you pay by the course. So that can really stack up, and you could be paying a lot more money just for a little bit of extra advice. And the thing is, with courses, you're really just paying for the structure. If there's some type of influencer online, like most of the people on Creative Live, they release so much free blog content and advice on social media. You're really paying for a structured A to Z course that really covers the topic how you want it to, with no holes being missed. You can technically find a lot of this online. So I think there's pros and cons to this. It really depends on what you want. And of course there are, like, they do mark the subcategories here. So if you really wanted to skip and bounce, you can. It does kind of irk you, or mess with you a bit when you look at the completion amount and it's like 5%, but you know that you know most of it, so trying to get 100% would be simply a vanity goal. So just keep that in mind. The playback is pretty simple. You can set it to 2x speed, which I love. You can get through video courses faster. And then if you just set it to autoplay, as soon as it finishes a lesson, which usually range from 2 minutes to 5 minutes per video lesson, it'll just jump straight into the next one. Some courses have exercise files you can download to work along, others don't. Some have a long FAQ, others don't. Some let you download the whole course offline in case you want to learn it offline, others don't. And they even have like a view count to see how popular the course is, the total duration, and a skill level to really see if this is a course for you. They also have an updated and a released date, which is great because sometimes Photoshop and other software update, and if it's too far back, then maybe you don't want to watch it. They also have in Lynda, they have numerous different courses of the same topic available. So there's a couple Photoshop beginner courses here. Even though they cover the exact same topic, they're taught by different instructors, and I think that's a great benefit because sometimes one instructor takes a different spin on it. Some will have very thorough tutorials like this, whereas others have a shorter, to the point, simpler, or more fun tutorial to watch. So that's it. You can also hit the plus button here to add specific courses to your queue to watch later. I think the one thing that I found with Lynda.com is you get so excited when you first log in, and there's so much stuff here, and you click on one and you add it to your watch later queue. It's easy to get overwhelmed here. You can initially start taking these courses, and they end up being so long that you don't get through much of it. You get through part of it and you're like, this is just ridiculous, and you don't finish it. They definitely err on the side of being a bit overwhelming and intimidating. So just keep that in mind. I think one thing that they fail to realize is that sometimes course takers care more about getting the result than being impressed by how much sub lessons you put into the course to make sure you get your money's worth. I think that does a disservice, and that's really it. I also wish they expanded this to other categories like productivity, making money, wealth, entrepreneurship, and so forth. But it's all right. And regrettably, another thing is that they don't bring on a lot of these successful people that I would rather have. I'd rather have a course about entrepreneurship or marketing from a marketing legend or entrepreneur legend like Bill Gates, Jack Welch, or Jay Abraham, instead of just more nameless employees who have achieved some success. But that's Lynda for you. Let me know what you think, and hit that subscribe button for more reviews like this one.